January the 1st, 2017. Happy New Year's, everyone, all around the planet. Hope everyone has a great 2017. There's a lot of things going on. What you're looking at now are Earth-facing images from a satellite called the Solar Dynamics Observatory. In the blue sections of the sun, this is called a coronal hole. Now notice in the right center, that is this very small coronal hole that is just going away from what we call Earth-facing. We saw that on the ACE satellite, but this large one coming around also appeared in the same position just over 20 days ago. Now this is the current solar wind speed, and we see from that tiny hole, or not tiny, but compared to the large coronal hole we see now, we saw the solar wind speed, called radial speed, jump above 600 kilometers per second. Now it only did it for part of a day. Now, but we're setting up a 9-day cycle. I'm seeing the pattern. And when we go through the larger coronal hole that we see coming now, we see this last for about 4 to 5 days. Now, notice something else that's happening. Timestamp going back 3 days, 12/29. This is called the radiation belt. The Earth is in the center of this image. You've seen the same models from the GOES satellites as we watched the magnetopause, but these are measuring radiation around our planet. Timestamps moving from the 12/29 up to 12/30 up to the 31st. We don't have today's information because it has not been put into this model. But you can see in the red images, I'll kind of back it up and go forward, starting today, that an increase in incoming radiation at 20 keV. But again, this is measuring radiation coming into our planet. Check this out. It's getting stronger and stronger. Now, this is strong, but we saw something happen, guys. And this is going into this 9-day cycle that is being set up with our coronal holes and our solar wind stream and our earthquakes. Again, 12/19. I'm going to go back. Let's check this out. Starting on the 19th, we kind of see here in the green, the lighter colors, that's the normal radiation belt around our planet. In the center, you see the circle with the black and white sections. The white section is the sun-facing side of our planet. You're getting information from satellites that are orbiting our planet. Now watch this on the 21st. Extreme radiation penetration inside the satellite band. Again, same measurement at 20 keV. Watch as this goes forward. I've never seen this before, guys. If you want to search the archive, you can do this on the magnetopause link on our website at bpearthwatch.com. Check this out. I'm kind of backing it up. Watch this timestamp here. Complete penetration and overload of the radiation sensors on the 21st at 1924 hours UTC time. What was happening? Look at the solar wind speed. On the left side, I'm going back to space weather, one of the best sites there is for this type of information. And our solar wind speed was at 629.9 kilometers per second. And this again is setting into this 9-day cycle of the coronal holes coming around, solar wind speed increasing, and the earthquakes, guys, they started December 8th, December 17th, December 25th, all very strong 7s. Now we're approaching that cycle again, which is going to put us, but starting late into the 3rd, earlier the 4th, and then because of the size of this hole, and that matches the same size as the one that we saw here on the 19th, but as it was turning on the 17th, is when we got that second major quake of December. I'll put that up at the end of the video, and you can match the time and dates. Now notice this. This was in one of the videos that we did at that time. 12/17, right there. Late into that date, December 17th, we had the second strong quake. Now watch what happens, and if you remember, we saw this video. And you're dealing with microwave energy being measured. And at this point, on the 18th, it had completely wrapped around our planet. That showed up, guys, not only here on microwave energy, but you saw it on the GEOES system, showing the radiation completely penetrating the inner magnetopods, the inner shields of our planet. Now, just before we saw the microwave burst, we were getting the solar wind stream increase and the electrons and the proton increase coming in on the A satellite. Check out the timestamp here going from the 17th to the 18th, top right. Look at the spike here, guys. Notice the top, the ACE density. This is protons. Electron burst, proton burst, all at the same time. Different satellites. That wave that came across was not a fluke from one particular instrument. That's not what happened. Now look at the timestamp here. This was December the 19th as we saw this come across. What happened is it built up on the 17th. Like I said, we saw the increase going from the 17th to the 18th with electrons and protons. Then we saw starting at the 17th, the microwave energy burst, and we got the 7.8 earthquake. Then, the 7.9. But going back to the 8th, and I will stack these up again so you can get the idea of this pattern that we're seeing from the 8th to the 17th to the 25th. As the coronal holes came around facing our planet, the solar wind stream increased. We started seeing these quakes. Now, since the 25th, we've seen it go back to the 5s. Now we're seeing it, the latest on this map, go to a 6.2. And we're starting to see an increase in the solar wind speed. This is going to continue. It's going to increase for the next few days, and then we will go through that for 4 to 5 days. Look at this, December the 8th. I want to just kind of go back and show you the pattern. Solar wind speed over in the left, 670 kilometers per second, over 1,000,000 miles per hour. What it's saying is Earth is now fully inside a stream of solar wind flowing from a large coronal hole in the sun. And if we go back to the 5th, guys, it matches almost the same size and the same location of the coronal hole that we are now facing. Look at this. This particular article is from the 5th, and it's warning about the solar wind stream that's approaching Earth, and we will see the impact starting around the 7th and the 8th. Now, again, the 8th is when we started seeing the strong quakes. And we're right now going back into this 9-day cycle. We're dealing with the solar minimum. Think about it. We're dealing with an increase of helium gas penetrating into the inner solar system, even closer to the sun than the Earth's orbit. And here we're seeing the same thing set up again. So normally the way the sun would deal with excess helium would be coronal mass ejections. Right now we're seeing a discharge of this helium during the solar minimum through these coronal holes. So we're still seeing the same impact. We're going to deal with the same thing I talked about with the heliotail, where the Earth passes behind the sun, going through its blowback of increased helium. So again, look at this. December 5th, image on the right. Images on the left today. So we're dealing with the 8th, the 17th, the 25th as far as impacts of the coronal hole and the major quakes. It matches the 8th, 17th, 25th. So what are we looking at now? If you look at this 8.5 to 9 day average, starting 3rd, 4th, and 5th, going into the stream. Look at the quakes again. December 8th, first one, 7.6, Solomon Islands. The image on the right, December 5th, warning about the 7th and the 8th. We have the rotation of the sun we see coming in the 17th, then the 25th, Christmas Day, the 3rd one, 7.6, chilly. Look at the pattern. This 8.5 to 9 day pattern. The coronal holes are matching of course, the increase in wind speed, but that's also increasing the temperature of this wind buffeting our atmosphere, our shields. So we have to pay attention to this. It matches identical from the 5th to the images today. On the 5th, there was a 2.5 day warning. But this went from this image on the left, now from the time of this video, further in the rotation to the right. Don't forget, look at the timestamp. The last model coming in on the radiation increasing again. 1231. This radiation, guys, can cause melanoma, a grievous sore that we've heard talked about many times in the Bible. Think about it. We're watching it, issuing this earthquake watch, guys. It's a heads up. I appreciate the patience as we drove over 4,000 miles and spent some time with our son, who's in the Air Force in Arizona, leaving for Kuwait in a couple weeks. Got to spend Christmas with him and a grandson and our daughter-in-law. It was a great time. We saw a beautiful country. I did a lot of filming. I will put those in some videos in the upcoming days, but this was more important tonight. I appreciate it. It's a heads up. Be safe.